Welcome back, Nintendo collectors. Alex here with another video. Hope you're well, guys. Now, before I get onto this week's featured video, which is all about my Super Nintendo collection, just want to say a big thank you to Andy at the Arcade Club for putting up with us. Me and a few mates descended on there last weekend because it was our birthday, and probably got a few high scores and abused a few of his machines. But we had a fantastic time, and what a place that is, the Arcade Club. Absolutely unbelievable. I know Andy really well and his family because I helped build the last arcade. I built all the internal walls up there on the last arcade, but I've never seen the new place. It was the first time up there and I absolutely loved it. And what we're going to do, we're going to organise a UK VAC meet up there at the end of October, the 29th of October. So even if you're not a UK VAC member, try and get up there, guys, and join up. If you want to get into arcades, this is the time to do it. Meet new friends, get into the hobby. You know, you never know. This is where all the deals are done behind the scenes. Maybe you'll be able to grab yourself a cheap cab. But it's a UK VAC members meet at the Arcade Club on the 29th of October. Make sure you be there, guys. And I just want to say, I met Daz Jones Deloria, I think it was, and Craig's here again at the Arcade Club. Great to see you guys. Daz, what a lovely bloke he is. First time I ever met him, really nice guy. So yeah, I had a fantastic time at the Arcade Club and can't wait to get up there again. Now, this week's video is all about my Super Nintendo collection, so I want to cover quite a lot in this video, so I'm going to cut straight to it, guys. I want to show you all of my Super Nintendo games, which are all up there on the top shelf. You can see they're taking over this room. And I want to show you a few of the ways that I play these games, look at some of the arcade sticks, and we'll go through every single game, basically. And got a few pickups as well. I haven't done any pickups for ages, so we'll have a look at a few of those. So let's cut to it, guys. Let's have a look at a few of my pickups. Right, so before I sit down and show you the games, look at these two beauties. Hey, who would have thought it? Hey, do you know what these are? These are really rare Super Famicom Sharp TV. So basically, it's a Famicom built into a Sharp TV, a CRT. And I'm extremely lucky to own not just one, but two, unbelievably. They come up on the forum for sale. They was up there for quite a while. I was quite surprised, actually. No one else spotted them. I don't think people realise what they are and how rare they are. But they're pretty sought after, and I can't believe I've got two of these. But there is a problem with both of them. I think the Super Famicom inside is not working, but I'm going to get them looked at. My man Mark, who does a lot of my repairs, he repaired and re-engineered Sky Skipper, is going to have a look at these, and he's pretty damn sure he can fix them. So I can't wait to get these working. These will be at Revival, so you'll get to play these guys, and hopefully they'll be mounted in that corner. The B&O is going to have to go. I'm going to have both of them mounted in that corner, which is going to look absolutely amazing next to my Super Nintendo collection. So I'm not going to do too much on it. I can't wait. I'm going to wait to get these working, and then we'll do a featured video on these because I think they thoroughly deserve it. For now, I just thought I'd quickly show you. These are the Super Famicom 1 Sharp TVs. Well, before we get on to my pickups and my whole Super Nintendo collection, I bet you can't wait to have a look at that. I just want to go over a few of the different ways of playing a Super Nintendo. What's your favourite way? What do you pick up first? Do you go for an arcade stick, or do you go for the trusty old D-pad, the Super Nintendo pad, which is absolutely awesome. In fact, this is probably one of my favourite ways of playing games, full stop. It's just simple. It does everything you need it to do, and it's just so responsive. I just love it. I love the shape, I love the colour. I think it's the best thing ever made, to be honest with you. But, you know, when you're playing vertical shooters or even side-scrolling horizontal shooters, it's a little bit easier to play with a joystick, an arcade stick. So we're going to have a look at a few of those guys and see if, let me know if you've got any of these, or if you prefer playing with any of these. Because I'm not happy, to be honest with you, with any of these. I've got three here. First up is the Capcom Power Stick Fighter for exciting entertainment and computer games. So this is it. Any of you guys got this? It looks pretty cool. It's got a nice shape, so your hands are nicely evenly spread apart and at the right angle when you're playing the game. But it's a little bit light for my liking, and the buttons are very flat. They just disappear without any kind of response back to the player, I feel. It's got turbo buttons here, so you can programming your favourite turbo button, auto fire. The joystick, it's not a bad height. It's not bad actually, this one, but I do feel it's a little bit worn. So maybe if you find a new one of these, a new old stock, it might actually feel a little bit better. But I don't know, I'm still not that sure about this stick. It's pretty cool though, it looks cool. Any of you guys got this? Do you prefer playing shoot 'em ups with the Capcom Fighter arcade stick? I don't know, I don't use it to be honest with you that often. Next up is probably my preferred way of playing shooters, but it still needs to be refined and modded a little bit better for my liking. It is the QJ Top Fighter, and the reason why I like this, it's nice and heavy, because when I'm playing shooters I tend to yank things around quite a bit, and because this is quite weighty, it tends to stay put where it is. It's a nice solid, nice shape, but there are problems with this stick. The main one is the noise. It's very noisy. You don't want to be hearing that when you're playing a shoot 'em up or any game. It's just too noisy, guys, so I've got to change that. It's too high as well. Look at the size of that stick, it's just too high up off there. So yeah, I'm going to change that. The buttons are not too bad actually. I do like that nice clicking sound, the micro switch underneath. And I do like the colours. I like the alignment of the buttons as well. Reminds me a little bit of the Neo Geo fighting stick. Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. You must remember this back in the day in the Superplay magazine. This was advertised all the time. And back then it was about 60 quid. It's pretty cool. But I just don't like the joystick. It's just too loud, too high and too loud. But we could probably sort that out. It's got obviously a little computer in here as well to program all your buttons. I'm not really into that. Maybe just an auto fire is all I need, but I don't need to program all my different buttons. But I guess if you're into fighting games in a big way, it probably might come to an advantage for you. But so that is the Top Fighter, QJ Top Fighter. Have you guys got that? Do you like playing with that? What are your views on that? Next up is Nintendo's own Schoolmaster. I'm not a fan of this one either. The buttons again are very flat. I don't know, you just don't get any response back, so you don't know whether you're firing or not. I like that nice little clicking sound. You can feel that you're actually shooting. The joystick's okay, but it's too close together. The joystick and the buttons are too close together for me, because I've got quite big hands as well, so I like them a little bit further apart. But it's colourful, it's Nintendo, it's got the colours there, like they've got on the pad. It's quite nice. Maybe for smaller hands, this would work quite well. It's not bad, it's just a little bit too small for me. So that's my 3 arcade sticks. I don't use all of them, I only use one, which is that QJ Top Fighter. But I don't know if you guys use any of these. Tell me what you prefer. Next up is the multi-tap, and this is used for games like Bomberman, so you can play up to 4 players. This is by Hudson Soft. I believe this does come with the Bomberman big box. Correct me if I'm wrong, or is it there's like a square Bomberman multi-tap, isn't there? Maybe this is out of something else, I can't remember now, guys, but it's pretty cool. Well worth having, although I don't have many friends around to play 4-player. It's still nice to have in the collection. And last of all is the Nintendo Scope 6, which I've never played. It's been in my collection for quite a long time now. You know what, I've never played it. I should get it out and play it actually. It looks horrendous, doesn't it? It looks absolutely ridiculous. I wouldn't want to be seen playing this, but Do you know what? I'm going to do a video on this just for the laugh of it. It's got to be worth it, hasn't it? Just for the laugh. It includes 6 great games. You know, I've never played any one of them. So maybe we'll give that a go sometime. Let me know if there's anything else I've missed, guys. It'd be cool to see if there's any other stuff that you could play the games with. So that's all of that stuff. Now I'm going to show you me consoles. You want to have a look at some of my consoles? I've got about 6 up there. Let's go and have a look at those, guys. I forgot to mention before we get onto the consoles, the mouse. I've got 2 of these, and they're really good actually for games like Worms and King Arthur as well. If you've got that, those sort of point and click type games, as long as they're kept clean. They do get bunged up because they do pick up a lot of hair and fluff. So, but you can take the ball out and just clean them. A bit of washing up liquid and they work fine. Yeah, they're great actually. They work really well. I think Mario Paint as well. You can use the mouse with that. So yeah, really nice little addition to the Super Nintendo. Another way of playing games. The mouse there, and great to have in the collection. Right, so let's get on to the consoles. Right, I've got 4 here. And I guess if you include the 2 TVs now, the Sharp TVs, I've got 6. And a few loose ones. I've got about 8 altogether. So quite a lot. I'm probably going to have to use the Super Famicom, which is this one, for parts to repair the Sharp TV. Hopefully not, but let's get the rare TV sorted and then I can always acquire another one of these. Box art on the Super Famicom is not that great, is it, guys? It looks very educational, a little bit boring, a little bit childlike. Maybe there were different variations, but maybe this was the first edition, but it's pretty boring. But the console is just absolutely amazing. It's the same shape as the PAL console. I've got them set up here, one in the box now. This one's all complete. It's got all the foam in there and everything, and the pads, Super Famicom pads as well, which are nice. I forgot I had them actually. So I've got pads everywhere. I don't know where everything is. I've got so much stuff. But you can never have enough Super Nintendo stuff, can you? So that's my first one. My second one was a trade I did with Dave, Retro Dave. You know, Dave got my Popeye arcade machine. Well, part of the trade was a Super Nintendo, an NTSC, American one. This is my first one I ever obtained. And I use it all the time. It's there now. I'm not a fan of the box. Art, there isn't any. No artwork at all on this. It's just a boring picture of the console and the 2 pads. And I was going to upgrade it, but there isn't really much choice. I think the American had Donkey Kong Country, but I've seen him go for a lot of money, $400, something ridiculous like that. So I'll probably just keep this one now, and yeah, just keep it at the back so you can't see it because there's nothing to look at, which is a shame really, because it is my preferred way of playing Super Nintendo games is on the American console. It's still great to have. So we move now onto the PAL consoles, and these are by far my favourite, and I understand why you collect PAL, guys. I've got nothing against people that collect PAL games at all. They are inferior because they do run slower and you do get less picture on the TV, but the artwork on them and the nostalgia, because all of you English guys probably would have had a PAL back in the day, is a very good reason to collect 4 PAL. And you know, this is something I picked up only a couple of weeks ago, and I paid, would you believe it, 60 quid for this, and it came with about 6 games all boxed. I sold the games on and I've kept this because I love it. I just love the PAL Super Nintendo boxes, and this is in immaculate condition. It's all there, instructions, everything. And do you know what? I want to collect all the PAL consoles now. I just think they look great. I think there's a FIFA and a Star Fox. But this is just great, you know, really, really is cool. Absolutely love it. What a lovely box. You know, I wish Nintendo would start making lovely boxes again, because the Wii U was boring as hell, wasn't it? What a boring box art that was. You know, you can't beat the Super Nintendo for sure. And next up is my favourite of all, because it is the one I had back in the day. This is the one I brought with my money. I was probably about 19 at the time. Been working, left school for a few years actually. I was working on building sites. I was probably working on Kew Gardens or Hampton Court Palace at the time, because I was a bricklayer, still am a bricklayer. So I had a lot of money at the time, where a lot of my mates were still at college. I was actually out there working, so I could afford something like this. And I remember going into the shop and seeing a Super Nintendo on one side, Sega Mega Drive on the other, and Neo Geo in the middle. And it was always a Super Nintendo all the way. I just wanted one of these because I'd seen it run Street Fighter, and I just thought, yeah, this is mega cool. I really want to own this. There was nothing about the Neo Geo that did it for me, and the Mega Drive. My brother had a Mega Drive, and I absolutely love the Mega Drive. Road Rash, and I'm not a fan of Sonic at all, I have to admit, but I did love Road Rash, and Mortal Kombat on the Mega Drive was cool. But Super Nintendo just won the console war for me back in the day. And look at this, guys. Look at the box art on that. Absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love it. So yeah, this is probably, this and my Sinclair Spectrum are the only real things I've got now from back in the day. Everything else in this room I've acquired fairly recently, in the last 10-15 years, where this goes back 20 odd years, 91. So yeah, what is that now? 91, 2001, that's 10. So yeah, it's 25 years, can't believe that. Unbelievable how time just goes by. But this is my favourite console of all time. I'll never get rid of this. Even though I did sell my PAL collection last year, which I had to, but I'll never get rid of this. So that's it. That's all my consoles. So I've got 4 box consoles, 2 Sharp TVs, and a few loose spare consoles laying about underneath in my seat here. So now we're going to move on to my games. And before we go through the whole collection, I just want to show a few of the pickups that I've had. I've had quite a lot recently. Just haven't had time to get it out there, guys. So I want to share it with you, because this is what it's all about, really. So let's get on to the pickups. Right, before I show you all of my pickups for this week, and there's quite a few, so strap yourself in, guys. There's about 10 here, lovely box Super Nintendo games I've got to show you. I just want to say, you know, it doesn't matter how or which way you go down this road for collecting these games. It is an expensive hobby, but it doesn't have to be all out sort of box sealed games. You know, you can collect loose games. I'm not going to take that away from anyone. If you want to collect loose Super Nintendo games, you go for it, guys. But don't set your bar too high, is what I would say to you. Don't say, you know, you're going to go out there and collect every single Super Nintendo game they ever released, because that's quite a high bar and it's a very expensive hobby. I mean, I collect loose NES games and I don't mind them. I love the NES and I would love to collect CIB, but I don't have the money for that and to collect for Super Nintendo. So I've set the bar, the NES, just loose, and any games that I want to pick up. And that's the same really for Super Nintendo. I'll pick up a game if it's going cheap, if it's boxed, but not too battered. It's got to be sort of around 7 and above out of 10 for me to pick up a box game. And obviously I always try and get it with a manual. I always try and get the American version over the Japanese version. But if it's a game I'm like fussed about, but I still want to play it, then I'll get the Super Famicom version because it is cheaper. And sometimes I will go Japanese because I prefer the box art. But it doesn't matter, guys. You collect whatever you want to collect. But my advice to you is don't set your bar too high. You know, don't go out there and say you're going to collect every single one, because I mean that's a hell of a lot of games. You've got to have a lot of space and you've got to have a lot of money. Just have fun collecting, and that's all I'm going to be doing. So if you want to join me on this little road of collecting, having a bit of fun, collecting for the system, this is what these videos are going to be all about. So let's get on to my pickups for this week. So the first one is Raiden. This is one of the first games I had in my Jammer Cab. I had a Video Master Jammer Cab. This is one of the first PCBs I actually brought, and I absolutely loved Raiden. What a fantastic vertical shooter, it really, really is. but it doesn't port very well to Super Nintendo. Unfortunately, it loses a lot of the sound, and a lot of the bosses in the game are kind of pretty boring. They don't really do much compared to the arcade version. They're pretty static, if you like. And the game's pretty mediocre, which is a real shame because I absolutely love this game. I still play it, I've got quite far of it, and I'll still go back to this game, and I'm happy to have this in the collection because I do like Raiden, I do like the music, but it's not a touch on the arcade version, unfortunately. But still great to have this in the collection. As you can see, it's in amazing condition as well. Really, really nice. I've got to get some more jewel cases for these. Next up is Kakoma Night in Busyland. This is the game that's running in the background, and this is probably my favourite out of my pickups this week. It's a bit of a gem, really, a bit of a hidden gem. I love it. It's probably not to everybody's taste, but it plays a bit like Kicks. Remember Kicks in the arcade, or Volfied? So basically you've got a little character and he draws lines, and you've got to take up a percentage of the screen, avoiding the enemies as they try and touch your line. If they touch your line, that's it, game over. So it's a bit like Kicks, if you remember Kicks in the arcade, but I'm absolutely loving it because it's very arcadey and it's very Nintendo as well. Lovely colours, lovely characters, and I just love the box art. Look at the box art, guys. Not in the best condition, probably about a 7 out of 10 I'd give this, but it's all intact, got the instructions, and I picked this up for 15 quid. It's quite a rare game, you know, you don't see this turn up very often. So I'm really happy to get this in the collection and really enjoy playing this. Out of all the games out of these 10 here, I've been playing this the most. Really, really cool. Next up is Spanky's Quest. Yeah, what a great name for a game. Colourful box art, and again another surprise hit for me. At first I couldn't work out what the hell was going on. It's very arcadey. It's a bit like Bubble Bobble. Is it Bubble Bobble or Puzzle Bobble? Bubble Bobble. So you've got sort of a beach ball or balloon that you're trying to bounce up, and as you bounce it on your head, it changes colour, and each colour represents a different way. If it bursts, it will burst into different things, depending on what colour the ball is, and it will explode over the enemies. So it's got a cool mechanic, and it's got great puzzle elements about it, and I absolutely love it. It's a fantastic arcade game, and this is what's fun about collecting for this system. You never know what you're going to get. I can imagine back in the day Superplay gave this a really bad score, but you know why? Because a lot of the arcade games are on their way out. You know, the next best thing was the latest graphics, big storylines, RPGs and that sort of thing were in favour. These sort of things were not, but these are the sort of games I like because it's almost like having a little PCB, an arcade PCB. Absolutely love this game, brilliant. Give it a go, guys. Spanky's Quest, awesome. Next up is Jim Davidson. It seems like Jim Davidson. No, it's Jim Powers' Lost Dimension. I knew a little bit about this game. I knew it had great graphics and a great theme tune because I think I was watching Snes Tastic. Is it Pete? He does some fantastic videos, and he really enjoyed it. I absolutely hated this game. It's impossible. It's stupidly hard, ridiculously hard, and it's unplayable. It looks amazing. I've never seen so many colours in a game. I didn't know there was that many colours in a rainbow. I mean, it's so many colours in this game. It actually makes you feel a bit giddy. I don't know why they gave this game with 3D glasses for you to play, because that would just make me feel sick. But yeah, box art's okay, and the game is just unplayable, guys. It's just too damn hard. It's ridiculously hard. And he only shoots in one. He doesn't move his. You can't move your arm around like you can in Contra. You know, you can do those somersaults, spin round, and have like a spray of multi-fire everywhere. This is just one shot in one direction as you jump up and down. Just didn't like the mechanic. Didn't like the game at all. but still in immaculate condition. And I'll go back to it and give it another go. Maybe I was being a bit of a dick. I'm not the best player at games, I must admit, but it was hard. It was very, very hard. God, this is a favourite of mine. Probably one of my favourite arcade games ever made. It's Gradius. I've pretty much got every single one on the on the NES. I've got the Gradius 2, Nemesis on the Game Boy, and I had to get this Gradius free. It's a fantastic game, but it does suffer from a lot of slowdown, unfortunately, which is a big shame, because the NES, you don't get that on there. It's trying to do so much. It's not the best version, but I still love this game. But if you want to play Gradius 2 on the NES. That is the best version. It looks amazing, and there's no slowdown in it at all. But unfortunately, a lot of slowdown. But still, lovely box art, in amazing condition. So chuffed to have that in the collection. Next up is a game I've been after for a very long time. My good friend Roger, who collects PC Engine games, has been banging on about this game. You've got to get it, you've got to get it. So I finally got hold of it. It took me a long time to get. It is the amazing Super Bonk, and this is quite a rare game. I actually acquired this with no manual and bought the manual separately, and I have played it. It's an absolutely crazy game, and I can't recommend this enough, guys. If you like platform games and something a little bit different, a little bit bizarre, this is the game for you. Super Bonk. There is a Super Bonk 2, but it only came out in Japan on Super Famicom. So you can only get Super Bonk on, I think you can get it on PAL and American, but you can't get number 2, the sequel. You have to get the Japanese version for that. But it's a brilliant game. I will do a gameplay of this at some point. It's just totally out there, absolutely bizarre. And it's in amazing condition. I'm really chuffed to get it in that condition. I paid about 70 quid for that, guys, a lot. But I wanted it, and then I paid another 10 quid for the manual, so weren't far off, about 90 quid in the end. Next up is Tetris 2. Haven't played this yet, but we all know what Tetris is like. It's probably just got a new skin on it, beefed up for the Super Nintendo. Next up is a game I've wanted for quite a long time. Heard lots of cool things about this. I played about 10 minutes of the game, really enjoyed it. Plays a little bit like Super Metroid. Love the character, love everything about this game, and can't wait to play more of this. It is Phantom 2040. I think it's based on an anime series, but it's very, very cool and in immaculate condition again. So really chuffed to have this in the collection. Super Smash TV, we all know this, guys. This was around in the arcades for a very long time, and it's a great port onto Super Nintendo. Great 2-player game. Chuffed to get this. Great port onto the Super Nintendo. A game here that Dave actually picked up as well, the same day or the day after I picked my version up. It's Battletoads in Battle Maniacs. Totally bizarre and very odd game. Not sure about this at all. Not sure if I like the mechanic. I do find a lot of the enemy bosses or creatures repeat themselves quite a lot. So I played it for about 5-10 minutes and got really bored very quickly. Yeah, I was a bit disappointed in that. But maybe it changes on the second level. But it was a very long first level with very samey enemy bosses. So yeah, weren't too keen on that one. So that's it, guys. That is my 10 Super Nintendo pickups over the last, 4 weeks, I think was the last time I did pickup video. So now I want to show you all of my Super Nintendo collection. I'm just going to quickly flick through everyone so you can see everything that I've got, so we're all up to date. And then the next video will be up to date with everything, and we can start looking at individual games and doing a gameplay. So let's have a look at them, guys. So current games up to date, I've got 76 American Super Nintendo games, starting with The Lost Dimension, Jim Powers, Spanky's Quest, Battletoads in Battle Maniacs, Super Smash TV, Phantom 2040, Tetris 2, Super Bonk, Gradius 3, Raiden Trad, Desert Strike, Super Tennis, Empire Strikes Back, Aero the Acrobat, Mega Man X, Biometal, Sky Blazer, Legend of Zelda, Troddlers, Nigel Mansell's World Championship, Ms. Pac-Man, WF Raw, Joe and Mac, Flashback, NBA Jam Tournament Edition, NHLFA Hockey rather, Primal Rage, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Turbo Sealed, Super Turricane, Super Punch Out, UN Squadron, Knights of the Round, Earth Defense Force, Lord of the Rings, Out of This World, Alien vs Predator, Radical Rex, Super R-Type, Super Off-Road, Top Gear 2, Beavis and Butthead, Outlander, Sealed Porky's Pigs Haunted Holiday, Sealed King of Monsters, Legend of Mystical Ninja, Phalanx, Best of the Best Karate, yeah, Championship Karate, D-Force, Stunt Race FX, Mickey Mania, Utopia, favourite of mine, Rampart. Moving up to the top row on my top shelf here, favourite of mine, Saturday Night Slam Masters, a sealed Legends of Zelda, Link to the Past, Player's Choice Edition, R-Type 3, Rock and Roll Racing, Super Baseball 2020, Super Castlevania, Contra 3, Alien Wars, Captain Commando, a PAL version, I think it only came out in PAL anyway, Archie McLean's Drop Zone, Tin Star, Super Mario All-Stars, Star Fox, and Super Mario Kart. So that is all of my American NTSC, or there's a PAL in there as well. I've got 3 PAL games. I'll show you the other 2 now before we get onto the Japanese. I'll just show you my few PAL Snes games before I get onto the Japanese releases. Favourite of mine, King Arthur's World, and the reason why I've held onto this in PAL, I know it's a bit odd, but it still has the shop that I used to shop in, buy all my games from, Mad Andy's, sticker's still on there, $9.99, and that's why I've held onto this game, because I have nostalgia with just seeing that price on there. What a fantastic guy. Andy was mad, but he was a lovely guy. He was the king of car boot, and I just loved going into his shop. It was just, you know, everything that you try and make your games room into today, you know. When I see people's games rooms, they just look like shops. You can see, you know, it's just lovely to hang out in, isn't it? And just look at all the artwork, and his shop was just like that. You could see all the latest releases, and out the back he had all the old stuff as well that no one wanted but except me. So yeah, fond memories of going to Mad Andy's. And any of you remember Mad Andy's, if you're from the area, let me know, because I'd love to share some memories with you. He was such a lovely guy. So that's one of my PAL games. Drop Zone, obviously I just showed you. awesome game. I think it only got a PAL release. It's Archie McLean's Drop Zone, very similar to Defender. And obviously one of my favourite games of all time. I had to get and still hold on to this version. It is the big box Super Metroid with the player's guide. Now you may be asking what happened to my PAL collection, because I did have a very big PAL collection which I sold only, what, September, was it last year or the year before? I think it was the year before, you know, it's quite a while ago now. It was a reluctant sale, I needed the money, but it was kind of like, you know, once I got rid of it, it was a fresh start for me to start collecting again, same console games but in a different region. And of course, you know, the PAL version is inferior to the NTSC, and you know, I'm not knocking anyone that does collect for PAL, because you know there's a lot of nostalgia there. You can see why I'm still hanging on to a few of my PAL games, so I know why you guys collect PAL. That's cool. But I wanted to go back into collecting Super Nintendo in a different angle, and I'm really enjoying this angle because there's a lot of box art I've never seen, a lot of games I've never played before. So I'm really enjoying this journey collecting for the Super Nintendo. So without further ado, guys, let's have a look at my Japanese collection now. Now, forgive me, some of the names I'm not going to be able to pronounce, I might just skip. Right, I haven't got a fucking clue what some of them are called. I know some of them, but some of them I really do not know. But still, maybe you'll be able to tell me in the comments below. My Super Nintendo Japanese collection. Right, Super Famicom games, we're reaching around about 60, starting with Super Bomberman 3, Super Dogfight, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Kirby, not sure which one that is, Russian Beat, Suzuki 8 Hours, Battle of Destiny, which one is that? Can't remember. Final Fight 2, Final Fight Guy, and Final Fight. Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 0, 2, or Alpha, I think that is. Street Fighter Turbo, Darius Twin, Paradius Da, I think it is. Not sure. There's 3 of them, I think. Rockman 7. God, I can't remember the name of that, but it's a very rare game. Goes for quite a lot of money, this one. Excellent game. Fireman. Mystical Ninja 2, I think that is. Batman Returns. Axlay. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Aladdin. Prince of Persia, Sylvalian, I think that's how you pronounce it, Double Dragon, cracking game, Choi Anarchy, Puzzle Bubble, and Rockman 6, Rockman X. Moving up to my top second shelf, we have Super Strike Eagle. We've got Paradius, I don't know which one that is, it's a Paradius F-Zero, Pop and Twinbee, and this is Galaxy Wars, which is very similar to Space Launcher, the arcade game I've got. The classic the classic game Hagane, Area 88 or UN Squadron, Super Pang, Jackie Crush, Super HQ, Magic Sword, Nosferatu, Zenkai, is it? Zenkai? Ninja Warriors, fantastic game. Mr. Do, Taekwondo, brilliant game. Battlecross, fun game. Samurai Spirits or Samurai Showdown. Zuku, Muscle Bomber or Saturday Night Slam Masters, same game. Space Invaders, Breath of Fire, King of Monsters 2, I think that's Fatal Fury 2, Arkanoid, and not sure what one that is down at the end there. So that's all my Super Famicom games, and that's about 62, I believe. So all in all, I've got about 130 games, I guess, something like that. Oh, I've got some loose ones down here as well. Let me show you the loose ones. Don't go out my way to collect loose ones, but obviously if they turn up. Race driving, Chuck Rock, Tetris and Dr. Mario, and what's that? Buster Loose, Bugs Bunny, Buster Loose, Mortal Kombat, Qbert 3, brilliant game, Spider-Man and versus X-Men, Super Mario World, got to get the boxed CRB of that, and RoboCop. So that's it, guys. That is all of my Super Nintendo games. Taking up all of those shelves up there, and all of my top shelves up there, and I just love the way I've displayed them. This is how I remember them in the shop, on display with all the artwork. Absolutely brilliant. You know, and when you get bored, you can just swap them around, put new ones up. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Look at them. So before we go, just want to show you this, which I forgot to show you, which is the Super Game Boy. Brilliant way to play Game Boy games on your Super Nintendo. It adds a little bit of colour, a little bit of pop to the game, and I use this all the time. I never use the Game Boy anymore. I just put a Game Boy in the Super Game Boy and play it through the Super Nintendo on the big screen, and it looks absolutely brilliant, and it adds a little bit more colour to the game. So if you've got a Super Nintendo, make sure you've got one of these guys. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. That is my Super Nintendo collection, and hopefully I'll be able to do an update every couple of weeks, something like that. And this is part of a new series, so yeah, I'll do an update every couple of weeks. Any new pickups, any new sort of updates, especially on the Super Famicom TVs. Can't wait to get them fixed and show you those working. So thanks for all the new subscribers. Thanks for all the comments. And if you want to check out my Facebook page, which is Ninty Arcades, you see a lot of rare Nintendo arcade stuff on there and other people's collections. And look out for the next video, guys, which is the next game room tour, which I'm going to do on Saturday, so that will be out the following weekend. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next video.